Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the farm. We're having a nice cool day here. Nice fall day, seems like. I know we got some heat coming up the first part of the week, but then only about 2 days of that, we'll be back into the 70s. Let's try to block the wind from you. But I'm going to go out in the garden and pick some jalapenos and some green beans, and then we're going to get in the kitchen and take care of those. But let's go look at those guinea keats out in the chicken coop to see how they're doing. They've probably doubled in size in the last week and a half or so. Getting pretty big. We lost one. We originally had 4, but the first day one of them passed away after Kelly tried to nurture it back to health. All right, who's laying an egg in here? Getting awful chatty. But yeah, they're growing pretty good. Now here in the chicken coop, in this corner, if you remember, been watching the channel for a while. Oh, here she goes again. We're gonna build some a brooder up here. And then below it will be a little cage for like quarantine with a door that goes outside. Let's go outside and show you out here, right where this 2x6 is here on the ground, on the inside of the coop there. There's going to be another wall there with a door right there. This will be its own little separate area here. But need to get out in the garden and get that stuff picked. A little breezy out here today. Went up and checked on the ryegrass we planted last week, and it's not quite sprouted yet. We've got a couple inches of rain here in the last 4 or 5 days. Apologize if you're hearing the wind. I'm going to come check on the bees real quick. With all this wind and cool weather, the bees are not flying too much at all out here. But they did get that frame all cleaned up. They've got all the pollen and leftover honey out of that frame. So we can pick up all this old stuff and get it gone out here. There's our windmill tower that we're going to be messing with here fairly soon. That 2 inches of rain we got will be really good for our compost pile. It's going to make it cook a lot better. I'm going to get out here with the tractor probably today and roll this and roll all of that moisture into the middle of the pile. You can see our broccoli and cauliflower out here in the garden. Got some extreme pest pressure going on, and I just can't bring myself to spray any more pesticides out here. I don't want to eat that. But even the 2 that came back got attacked again, and they're somewhat worse on the cauliflower down here. They've just destroyed them. Looks like we have some more black aphids down in there. So cauliflower and broccoli may be a total loss this year. Maybe we'll try to plant some more in a different area of the garden, and maybe with this cooler weather the pests won't be as bad. I don't know. It's amazing how far these squash runners go. The butternut squash is the 3rd plant down there, so 1, 2, 3. But you can see there's a butternut squash clear down here. The Hubbard's supposed to be in the middle. This is buttercup squash. So there are some buttercups in here, but there's a Hubbard right here that's supposed to be in the middle. This is all supposed to be Hubbards here, but it's got butternuts. Here's a Hubbard over here. And there's some Hubbards out there where the butternut's supposed to be Hubbard way over there. Crazy how long these runners go. I need to check on the cantaloupe. Last one I picked was not ripe. So I've basically told myself I'm going to wait until the stems pretty much fall off. And then I know they'll be ripe. So let's check couple of these in here. Not yet. No stems coming off. Nope. Still pretty tight. So I'm gonna let these go some more. But there's probably 30 cantaloupe in here. Unreal. Watermelon, the last one we picked was not ripe. So these watermelon plants are dying back. So maybe that's a sign that they're almost ripe. Let's take a look in here. They say to look for a little tendril up here off of the where it's connected, and they're all dry. Look at the bottom of this thing. Yellow. Kind of leery about picking one. I don't want it to be underripe and lose another one. A couple more over here. Got our sugar babies in here. And we got these two yellow looking ones here. We're not going to know what they're going to do, but it's even full of cantaloupe all over here. Lots and lots of cantaloupe. Butternuts could be pretty much picked there. If we wanted to cook one, we probably could, because they're good and ripe. They would be fine to pick at this point. All this moisture we've got is going to bring some more weeds. So we're going to be weeding a lot more out here coming up. But here's our habaneros. Let's look inside of some of these bigger plants. See if we can find some peppers down in here. There's some little ones right here. But not a huge amount, not anything like the jalapenos, but still got flowers all over them. Here's some peppers over here on the other side. This one's got a lot more peppers on it. You can see all those peppers in there. But these are going to turn orange when they're mature. Lots of cherry tomatoes. Plants are getting as tall as me already. We got two of the sugar baby watermelons on this little vine down here, and then 3 of them on the next one over here. But these are supposed to be little icebox melons, little small ones that fit in the fridge a lot better. So let's go pick some jalapenos. We got almost a full tote of peppers just out of this little row here, right here. These 2 plants here were so full of peppers they were laying on the ground. Couldn't even support their own weight. But the size of some of these peppers is crazy. Look at the size of these things. Amazing. Not even turning colors yet. Now you see some brown. Sometimes when you leave peppers on the vine too long, they get like little brown scars on them. But that's not what this is. That's just dirt from that rain that we had splashing up onto the plant. I need to come out tomorrow and do some tying on these tomatoes, the stuff that will tie up to the cattle panel. Whatever that won't, we will side prune and get rid of. But haven't been out here for a while because of my procedure last Wednesday. I had to take it easy and wasn't supposed to be lifting or doing anything with my right arm. But come tomorrow, I think I'll be off of my light duty and we can get back out here and get some stuff done. So I'm going to carry this with my left arm, and then got to come out, pick probably our last good bunch of green beans, our last big pick. We got a pretty good mess of beans there in our big tote that we got. Some of those are beyond edible by my standards, but probably 75% of them are decent. And the days of the nice long green beans are probably over here in the garden. A lot of the mature ones now are a little shorter, a little crooked. But we're going to have plenty of beans here in the future that will be plenty enough for like fresh eating in the kitchen for making dinner. But the big harvests are over, and we've already got enough green beans put away for us that we're good. We've got plenty of harvested. And then down here on the bottom, you always miss some. Those will get mature, they'll turn brown, and then when we pull the plants out, we'll actually get those for seed for next year. Now these are Blue Lake pole beans that we've grown here. Here's one here that I missed, can probably be picked. You can see how they're only like fat on one end. They're not the big, long, crazy beans like you get during the initial harvest. But we'll take them. We're going to pickle some, so we have them for long-term storage. I'm actually going to can them, and then we'll probably have some for dinner tonight. While I've been out in the garden, Kelly's blown up the kitchen in here doing a bunch of stuff. She's got a quiche that she's made because we get plenty of eggs now. We're probably getting probably 15 eggs a day. So she's made a nice quiche that we're going to eat here and there. And she's made a bunch of breakfast burritos with ham and cheese and some zucchini, eggs, and some other stuff, some hot sauce, spices, really good stuff. She wraps them up and then wraps them up individually and then freezes them in bags so she can just put one bag upstairs and the rest can be downstairs in the big freezer. And then she's going to be making some breakfast sandwiches with the eggs and the bacon and the ham and stuff like that and cheese. And then she makes some called ham cups. We'll get you a picture of those later. While I was down in the root cellar, I grabbed one of our grape juice jars from last week last year that I canned. We took a mixture of all three of our varieties of grapes and made grape juice and grape jelly last year. Very refreshing and blows Welch's out of the water. Alright, now Kelly is into making her ham cups. What she does is she takes her cupcake pan, she sprays them first, and then she'll line the cupcake well with some ham, and then she puts some cheese in the bottom, and then she cracks an egg into it. Is there anything after the egg, babe?
Just salt and pepper or whatever herbs you want on it.
A little salt and pepper, herbs, flavor, whatever you want.
I normally use shredded cheese on top, but I ran out of shredded cheese.
So how long do you bake these?
I don't know, I'd have to look it up again. I think I have it set at 350. I think it takes about 15 minutes or so.
Okay, probably just till the egg's nice and firm.
Yeah.
So then she takes these and she pulls them out once they've cooled off. And she puts them individually, wraps them individually, and then puts them in the freezer. And then when she takes them for lunch, she'll take them out of the freezer, put them in her lunchbox, and then by lunch they are thawed out and ready to eat. And then you can also take like an English muffin and like toast an English muffin and throw one of these right on your English muffin, and you have a ready-made breakfast sandwich if you don't mind having the carbs of the bread. But if you're on a low-carb diet, you could eat it just like this. Ham cups are out of the oven. That's what they look like when they are done. Look pretty scrumptious. You can do that with bacon too. You pre-cook it a little bit. You can line it with bacon. Now Kelly has moved on to breakfast sandwiches. She's currently making me with sausage, egg, and cheese. She's doing Canadian bacon, egg, and cheese for her. So these will all be individually wrapped and placed in the freezer for a quick breakfast and a very good use of our surplus of eggs. Alright, Kelly's done in the kitchen, so I'm going to get started on my stuff from the garden. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort these green beans into the ones that I believe are edible and sort out the ones that I don't. We got about a half a basket full here. This is what we're looking at. So like something like this that we probably missed last time that's grown into full-on beans, we're going to toss that out. And then we'll keep ones that, let's see, something like this is still good. So we'll get that done. All right, we got them sorted. We probably were able to keep about a third of what we picked. All of these ones that were just way too past being a decent green bean are going to go to the chickens, and they can enjoy those. They will not get wasted. So we'll wash these up and we'll get prepared to process them. All right, we've packed 2 jars for our dilly beans that we're making. I call them dilly beans because we put our regular dill pickle recipe brine in them, and I put it together here. It's just different different amounts because I'm making enough for 2 jars. So in this, for the 2 jars, we use 2 cups of water and 1.5 cups of white vinegar, a tablespoon of salt, a tablespoon of sugar, 2 tablespoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of pickling spice, and 4 teaspoons of mustard seed in that little tea ball. And then we boil that and get all those flavors together. Now in the jars, you can either put 2 teaspoons of dill seed, but we put some fresh dill flowers down in the bottom. And then you want to put the equivalent of 2 cloves of garlic. So we've already boiled this. We're going to pour this hot brine into the jars, bringing it up pretty much to the top because we don't have to worry about headspace because we're not going to can these. 2 jars isn't worth canning. I'm going to give one of them away, and we'll only keep one here for us. So I'm going to pour my hot brine in, and then I've just saved 2 regular sized lids from the store that I use for like refrigerator stuff, so I don't waste my good canning lids. So we'll get that put together, and then we'll start on our jalapenos. There is our refrigerator dilly beans. We ended up having to make some more brine. We didn't have quite enough, so I would recommend, if you're doing 2-quart jars, do 4 cups of water, 3 cups of vinegar, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 4 tablespoons of salt, and then in your little tea ball, you don't have to, you can throw it right in the mix if you want all of the spices floating around in there, but you would do 4 teaspoons of pickling spice, 8 teaspoons of mustard seed, and then remember we put the dill flowers in the bottle. If you don't have the dill flowers, you would want to go with 2 teaspoons of dill seed in the jar, and then the equivalent of 2 cloves of garlic. And then that worked out to 2 jars right on the money. Now we got this many green beans left. We're just going to make those up for dinner, and we need to get that going here fairly soon. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop for now. I'm going to do those jalapenos tomorrow. If you're interested on how I do those, go back and look at our canning videos. You'll find a video for the jalapenos that show we do them 2 different ways. One into cowboy candy and the other one in just pickled jalapenos. And then we do them like a relish. We don't do the big rings because they're easier to deal with. So we're going to call it a day. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Check out some videos up here if you're interested in some other stuff. Like and subscribe if you want to. That helps us get out to more people, and more people can see recipes and other stuff, how to do stuff the old way. So catch you on the next one.